Hi everybody, Lee and the Lights here. This is my second movie review, and no, I'm not in the car. I have to work. Some people have to work to do their movie reviews. Some people just get to do their movie reviews. I have to work. So if you support this project and you support me and support what I do, maybe I'll set up a Patreon. But in the meantime, I have only had about 40 people, I don't know, watch my reviews. So I'm so grateful to every single one of you. That's so crazy to have 40 people I don't know the names of to have clicked on my random The Conjuring 2 review. I'm very flattered. This is on my iPhone. So many people go to the trouble of getting a microphone and a computer and a camera and writing notes and editing. This isn't it. And 40 people clicked on it. The Conjuring 2 also happens to be a very good movie. So hopefully I stuck some people with that and you're continuing to watch. Thank you so much. So let's move on to my second review, and I'm so excited about this one. Finding Dory. Finding Nemo 2. Yes, and people have been comparing it to the other Disney Pixar sequels. I think really what they're only focusing on are the two, and that would be Cars 2 and Toy Story 2. Which one is it gonna be? This is a non-spoiler review, and I can say non-spoilery, it is nothing like a Cars 2. Is it anything like a Finding Toy Story 2? A Finding Story Tory 2. That's what I was gonna say, but I stopped myself and repeated it anyway. The thing is about Toy Story 2, there are elements of that movie that work so well into the original. It continues the story. It's everything a sequel is supposed to be, and it's funny, well written, well directed, and in my opinion, better than 3. I'm just gonna say it right now. I think Toy Story 2 is a little bit better than 3. There are moments in 3 that are better than everything in the whole thing. Moments and movies as a whole are not the same for me. And believe it or not, in my opinion, Toy Story 2 as a whole film is better to me than 3, but there are moments in 3 that are better than Toy Story 2. Sorry. Getting to know me as a reviewer, I just feel like I should explain as I go. As soon as I get an editor, maybe a Patreon will take care of that, then that will all be cut. But if you like the fat, which I do have, then don't trim it. That's my motto, if I can keep improving. So here we go. Finding Dory 2. Finding Dory Nemo 2. That is what I saw today, and I gotta say, it is more like a Toy Story 2 than Cars 2. It is a really good sequel, and I have to say, it continues the first one. I am very surprised at all that could be explained with the character of Dory with this movie, and I'm very pleased with it. She's the only fish that can read. She's the only fish that really can comprehend some facts about human nature. She seemed very adaptable to a lot of things. Even though she had a short-term memory loss, she was so adaptable. You know, the whale talk and the being able to talk to birds and not seem so apprehensive about it, knowing human terminology, knowing what human knows about fish. She knew that. And the sequel does a really good job of tying into it, extending it a bit. If you find a sort of nostalgic oddity like Lion King 1.5, that may also be good storytelling to you too. I say it this way because Lion King 1.5 is not a good movie. It's not overall a good product, but it's kind of fun-ish to see what happened in the middle of those scenes sometimes. Sometimes they were. Yes? Okay? And I gotta say, that's the thing about Finding Dory, is overall, it is very well It is a product that is very well executed, beautifully. Um, if you see, and when I say that, well executed, it doesn't mean that there is any substance in the product. It just means that it is well done. It's just a well cooked vegetable or meat, or excuse me, I just got off work. I really thought this movie would be better. And especially with her condition, I wanted it to be a bit more dense. I don't want to get into too much about my own personal life, but at this moment in time, I am dealing, and it seems I'm always dealing with, because I have like most of us do, we have a big generational family. Da-da-da! The next generation is always coming towards us, and Dory's condition is forgetfulness, and I have to admit there were times I could not dissociate that from Alzheimer's or dementia or something that is very much the forgetfulness disease. It is brought up a lot with Finding Nemo. It's a bit more dense because Nemo just has a dull fin. It operates. You can't really say that he's not well. It's dense. You can put kind of whatever you like in there. With Dory's forgetfulness, it's very spot on. So her forgetfulness is either very convenient to the plot, or it's just convenient to the plot, because why else would you have her there? She'd just be annoying. And unfortunately, I have had time to sit on it. This isn't like coming out of the fresh movie theater. I'm actually kind of glad I had the time to go to work and spend a work shift thinking about this film and actually bringing it up to people who had seen it as well. And what I did here was I did find Dory's illness a bit convenient for the plot. And I have to agree, very much so. However, when it comes to things like that, when it comes to we're trying to define or represent an illness or a state of mind or who we are, we're still learning. As a film industry, as people who are trying to make entertainment for kids, we're still learning. We have not made the first of everything yet. We are still trying to represent disabilities to people in a very respectful way and trying to make it dense enough to where it's not offensive, where it's for everybody, where it's accessible to everybody. And with Finding Dory, I feel like a lot of it depended on she forgets. Isn't that sad? It is. It is very sad. And a lot of us live with that every day. I don't hate this movie for misrepresenting it. I just don't think it was, I think we're on a stepping stone. We can't all be movies like Inside Out or Zootopia. We can't. And Finding Nemo was a very cut and paste story. I can't say that Finding Nemo was even like a Wall-E or an Incredibles or anything like that. Finding Nemo was beautiful, but it was we need a destination, we need a plot point, and we need to find it, and it is very well told and gorgeous to look at. And not to mention the voice acting. Oh my gosh. Albert Brooks. Please, okay, I know, you expect me to say Ellen DeGeneres, she's so wonderful. Everyone knows that Ellen DeGeneres is wonderful. If you haven't figured out that Ellen DeGeneres is wonderful, then you're probably a bigot. No, never mind. You just haven't. It's just not for you. But Ellen, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, she's just a darling. Everyone loves her. Her voice is warm, or her voice is confident and funny and sure. But Albert Brooks is, an improvisation master. He is a voiceover genius, and anything that he can do, I am down. I'm down to see what he can do, especially if they will let him go. If the director, I know, will just let him just talk and no one will interrupt him. I just want to see it. And so anything that stars Al Brooks, he's in there somewhere at some point, please do it. And I'm so glad there was a point in this movie, and I didn't think this would happen, but they let him have a few improv moments where he got to just put a few zingers in there. Thank goodness. Also, the kid who plays Nemo. I don't believe he can't be the original one. He can't still sound like that. That would be crazy. But Nemo actually has a role in this. That's great. I'm glad to see the character of Nemo. That's so cool. We went all the trouble to find him. Now he's here, and he's a very smart boy. Sorry, I am trying to wrap it up because there's only so much YouTubiness I can have, and this is my non-spoiler review. I want to say, the voice acting is great. You knew that. The animation is great. You knew that. Disney and Pixar execute beautiful pieces of entertainment. You knew that. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. It is good. Though it is good, not new. It is the same hamburger, piece of cake, pizza you've ever had, just warmed up in the microwave, and it is good. It's delicious. You don't hate that you had it? It's good. By the way, Ed O'Neill as Hank, this octopus, the way he's animated is absolutely, but once again, the way it's animated, the way it's voice acted, not what it brings to you that's different. It doesn't offer anything different, but it brings you better refinery to it, which is what Pixar and Disney do very well. Just go see one of their ice shows or theme parks. But that's my non-spoiler review of Dory. Catch out my next one. That's what a non-editing video is about. Please can tell me if I need a Patreon and an editor, because I'd really like one. My next review will be including some of the trailers I got and my spoiler reviews on it all, including, does she find her family? We'll find out after this. This is Lee in the Lights. See you in part 2.